It was good, guys. My name is on my hand. Today I'm bringing you the sequence tier list and basically just going for the first or second dupe. Mostly going to be going looking at the second dupe. We're not going to pass the second dupe and just seeing how much value can you really get from these. And I'm going to be ranking them. Now I do want to put one disclaimer. If I say this certain dupe is only good in this certain situation, it's only good for that certain situation. So I don't want to make it seem like if I say this dupe is like insanely broken, but if it's insanely broken for only that situation, please make sure you're only pulling that dupe for that certain situation. I don't want to make you guys pull dupes and you think it's broken for every situation when it's only broken for those certain situations. So we're going to go right in here. First character we're going to be looking at, or actually before we even look at the first character, let's just go ahead and get the mid ones out of the way so I actually have them right here. These dupes you should not pull at all, okay? These dupes bring you zero value besides the character themselves, and even then it's really not even that crazy value. You can probably just get this value with like gear or anything, or just being better at the game. So these dupes, do not pull them. So the first character we're going to be looking at is Shortkeeper. I feel like I shouldn't even have to do anything for Shortkeeper here. Like, her by herself is already broken. But basically what her E2 does is it increases your attack by like 40%, and it's broken. So if you get this, it's broken. You're probably going to be using Shortkeeper for like a very long time just because you have this E2. Now we're going to look at Camellya. Let's see what Camellya has to offer. Okay, now we're going to be looking at the Camellya here. So her E1 is really good. It gives you crit damage, which is really good. But I feel like it's the E2, which really is pretty good. And it gives you like this extra damage on her enhanced skill, which is insanely good. So with that, we're going to go here and we're going to rank this in good. I think it's good, but I don't think it's insanely good compared to most other dupes, but it's definitely like, I don't think there's going to be any other dupe in this tier and good that's going to surpass this Camellya dupe. So let's go to Thea. Okay, Thea dupes here. Now her E1 is really interesting. It gives you like really good just crit damage and stuff, and then a little bit of damage increase with the air erosion stacks, which is really good, but I don't think it's something insanely crazy. Now her E2 is where it gets really good, because I'm pretty sure somewhere, I'm not going to read all this, but I'm pretty sure somewhere in here it lets you apply a little bit more stacks, which is really insane and is really good. So, and it really makes her a little bit easier to solo than being at E0. So with that being said, I think it's going to be really good. I do think a dupe in here might surpass her E2, but just because a character E2 or anything makes them be able to solo doesn't make it, you know, broken. Because it's not something you probably can do for a very long time since she is a DPS. And you know how gacha games get. But I will say Wutheringwaves had the power creep really well. And if you have her E2, you're probably going to use this character for a really long time because just how strong it is. But I do think there might be a dupe here that might surpass her. But let's just see on the next character, Kentella. Okay, so Kentella dupes here. Now, her E1 is honestly not that good at all. It gives you like no value, but her E2 is really, really freaking good. And then her E3, I just want to give a special mention to her E3, just in case, you know, you do get her E2, let's say you get it really early, double something, and you're considering it, I would go for her E3. Her E3 is pretty freaking insane. Now, besides that, I would probably just chill, because honestly, until you get the E6, it's not that crazy. But I just want to give an honorable mention to her E3, because it is really good. And with that being said, her E2, for main DPS, I'm thinking main DPS here, I will say it's here. It's in the good. I'll say it's probably almost the same tier as the Camellya E2. They're probably about almost comparable. But yeah, let's go to the Corada. Okay, so we're here on Corada. So starting off with her E1, honestly, not that crazy. If you're like, feel like you really need that crit rate, then going for the E1 is, it's cool or whatever, but I don't think it's that insane. Now her E2 is actually pretty freaking good. This actually is a significant increase. And then another honorable mention for her E3 here. Her E3 is also really good. If you think you want to go for the E3, it's also really good. I actually use a E3 Corada kind of daily whenever I use her on one of my friends' account, and it's pretty insane. So with her E2 though, on her ranking, I will say it is another really good and I'll say it's comparable to these two here. I think it's a little bit stronger than the Kentella one, but I don't think it's stronger than the Camellya one at all. So let's see what Phoebe's dupes are feeling like. Okay, so now we have Phoebe dupes. Now her E1 is really good, and I mean really good. It's probably one of the best E1s in the game. It's extremely good for her main DPS and pretty decent for her sub DPS a little bit. But this E2 though is really insane, and it's just insane. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and rank it here, and I'll just have to say it's definitely better than the Thea E2. Not that it makes her do any more damage than Thea or anything, but just the sheer value that you get out of her E2 is way higher than Thea's E2, because Thea E2 is just DPS, while Phoebe E2 gives you DPS, and it increases her support capabilities by giving the next Spectrofrazzle character more damage. Now, this is one of those things where I was like, the E2s or whatever dupe I says gives you that much value in certain situations. This is one of those type of dupes. So Phoebe's E2 is only going to give you drastic value for Spectrofrazzle characters. So there's Xandy or any other Spectrofrazzle character that come out in the future, you will probably be running this quote-unquote E2 Phoebe that you have, because just how much sheer value it gives you. But that's going to be Phoebe's ranking. Now let's see what Frolova's is. Okay, so now we're here on Frolova. Now this one is I really like a lot because it gives you insane amount of value. Just beware, this is one of the ranked very high. Now, for her E1, though, I'll say is probably one of the most useless E1s in the game. It doesn't really do anything. It's more for like, her E1's more like quality life for like open world, really. It just gives you 2 of the rainbow nodes, and that's really about it. But her E2 is definitely probably the strongest E2 here. In terms of for DPS or just sheer value, she probably has one of the strongest E2s here. Now, her E2, it gives you 14 of these stacks. This is the most important part. Honestly, you don't even care about the damage increases here. You care about these stacks here, because this is where you get her 100% crit damage thing from. And the fact that it gives you just 14 of these for free, and you get them continuously when you're going longer into battle, is just really, really broken. So, for Frolova here, she's definitely going to be here. I don't think in terms of sheer value, I don't think it's that. It might be like, I don't know, they're like top for first place right now, but I'm going to just leave it here because she is a DPS and the Shortkeeper is a support. But I will say down the line, I could see like an E2 Frolova having more value than an E2 Shortkeeper. But let's go to Xandy. Okay, so now we have Xandy here. Now, I really like Xandy dupes. So first of all, Xandy E1 is definitely one of the best E1s of the game, just because it gives you this right here. This line right here already gives you insane value. And then her E2, the crit rate is really good, and then its damage increase is also really good. So for her E2, I will rank Xandy right behind Thea. I think it gives you a lot of damage. Okay, let me put it like this. If you play Xandy in 4 Nightfall Xandy, it's like here. Or like here. Like right behind Phoebe. Because I think Phoebe is just a little bit more value. But I will say you would probably pull an E2 Xandy over an E2 Phoebe. Probably. Me personally, I will pull the E2 Phoebe. But here's how I would rank it. But most people don't play 4 Nightfall Xandy. So I'm gonna just rank it here because I do think the E2 Cartwheel is stronger if you're not playing Xandy in 4 Nightfall. But 4 Nightfall Xandy, remember, is like here or even up here. So yeah. Let's see what Brent dupes do for him. Okay, so we're here with Brent now. Now, I will say Brent has some really, really interesting dupes. His E1 is kind of like whatever a little bit. It gives you some damage, which Brent really likes a lot. But I don't think it's insane. I don't think if you're only going to pull for E1 Brent, I wouldn't do it. But if you pull for his E2, boy, oh boy. Now, first of all, it gives you a straight up 30% crit rate, which is insane. And then you can skip past all of this. Brother, this thing gives you a whopping 440 increase of Brent's attack. And it's considered as a base attack. And it triggers this explosion that triggers 1 time and up to 2 times in total. And dude, it's insane. Honestly, like Brent E2 is kind of insane. Now, I will say it's probably here. It's probably gonna be like below and is really good. But if you have like an E2 brand, I can see you soloing like you can solo with cards of Thea. It's a really good E2, but I don't think it's stronger than any of these other E2s. But it's very, very good. So let's see what Ginshi has to offer. Okay, now we're here on Ginshi here. Now, I will say this is another character where I really like her dupes. So, her E1 gives her a flat up 80% increase. It doesn't seem like that much, but it actually is a lot for her, which is insane. And then her E2 has got to be one of my favorite E2s. So, this straight up fills up half her bar while she goes out of combat for more than 4 seconds, which is really good for her because this kind of like eliminates you even needing to have a coordinated attack in your team, and you can just use somebody else that just takes up a good bit of field time, and then you come in with Ginshi, you just let that beam go. So it's really, really good. And if I had to rank it, I would put it I would put it like right here. I feel like these two could be a little bit comparable in a way. So you can just kind of just put whichever one you feel like. But if you had them both on the same team, then honestly, dude, is really good because they both work together. So if you had both of them E2, really good. But let's see what has to offer. Okay, so now we're in here on Now, I really like dupes. If you haven't seen my channel, then I have videos on me using the E2 pretty frequently, sometimes here and there, and it's really, really good for her main DPS. Now, her E1, I would say if you just want to come in here, snag her E1 and stop, it's good, but I would try to come in here and snag this E2 because it's really good. That's a 40% all-type damage increase with her little Blessing and Awakened Light thingy. So, I really like her E2. If I had to rank it though, I would say it's probably about here. No, I didn't mean to put that in front of Camellya. I think Camellya's is a little bit stronger. But if you did compare it up with the E2 Kachona, then I would say it goes about here. Probably a little bit stronger to Brent. Probably. It's really good though. It's really good. So let's see what Augusta has to offer. Okay, now we're in here with Augusta. I will say I do like Augusta kit, but I don't really like her dupes that much. So her E1 gives you these little crowns, and then you gain more crowns and you do more damage according to the crowns, which is really good. And then her E2 gives you more crit rate, and then if you have over 100 crit rate, the more crit rate you have, the more crit damage you do. But I feel like it's really hard for some players to even build this type of stuff like this to even get the value out of this. So I don't really like it that much, but it is pretty decently strong. But I don't think it increases your damage by an drastic amount as much as some players would think it would. So I would put it just right here behind Brent for now. I don't think it's really that much stronger than any of these characters, even though her by herself is probably stronger than like a little bit of these characters. But I would say her dupes is really just not that worth it. But if you do have it, it's really good. It's just like I wouldn't pull it, but it's really good. So let's see what Lupa has to offer. Okay, so now we're here with Lupa. Now I would say I really like Lupa dupes. So first, her E1 is really good because it gets her off the field faster. I would say I wouldn't pull for her E1 and stop because it's not that crazy value. But if you have her E2, then it's crazy value because it just gets her off the field faster. Plus, it gives her free crit rate. So with her E2 though, it gives a 20% fusion damage bonus to literally just all the fusion units, which is really, really good. And it's for 30 seconds and it stacks up to 2 times. So this isn't just 20, this is 40, which is really insane. But I want to give an honorable mention to her S3. Now her E3 is really, really good. If you get her E2, I would highly consider getting her E3. So her E3 just makes it where you don't even need this 3 fusion units on your team anymore, which is really, really, really broken for her. So for her ranking though, we will only use her E2 of course. But if you do have her E3, she's easily up here because you can just use her for like forever. But here, I'm going to put her at the top of really good. Only reason she's at the top of really good is because she and Phoebe do like the same thing on their E2s. It's just that Phoebe's is a little bit more restricted than Lupa's because Lupa, you can literally just run any fusion units. But Phoebe's is only good with Spectral DPS. So, yeah, let's see what Galina has to offer. Okay, so now we're here with Galbrina. So I also like Galbrina dupes a little bit, but her dupes don't really make her that crazy, honestly. None of her dupes are really insane, like, at all. But except for like her E6, that's really about it. But if you do main Galbrina, I will say going for her E2 is pretty significant value just for her herself. So the E1 just gives you 80 crit rate, crit damage, and it's pretty good. And then her E2 gives her a lot of attack. It gives her a lot of attack. But I think that would be better put if you gave just like Lupa all the dupes you would probably put on her. But with that being said, I would think I would put her dupes probably about here. I think she's about here. Yeah, she's about here. So Galbrina dupes is like really good, but if I was you, I would rather invest those dupes into the E3 Lupa instead. But yeah, let's see what Kachona has to offer. Okay, so E2 Kachona. Now I would say she has one, probably I would say one of, it's probably just the worst E1 ever. You definitely should not get an E1 in Kachona and stop. If you're gonna pull for dupes her, you have to get at least to this E2. Now her E2 is extremely good. I really like her E2. It's a whopping 40% arrow damage whenever you have her ultimate down. And if you know her ultimate is down for literally like a long time. Your whole rotation if you put her in the front. So it's really good. And I use this E2 pretty decently often whenever I use the E2, So I will say it's really good. But if I had to rank it, I think I would put it here. Just cause it's another one of those support dupes that you can just put on literally any arrow team. I do think Phoebe's probably brings more value later in the future, but I think these could be comparable to being like here or here. But I think Lupa's is a little bit higher value just because if you did get the E2 Lupa, you could also go for E3, which her E3 is more insane than basically both of these unless you're going for E3 Phoebe, which is really good for her main DPS. So let's see what GN has to offer. Okay, so we're here with GN. Now, I will say I'm considering GN in the best team, right? He can be ran in with the little Kachona, that team. So with that being said, if you used to have that team at all E0 baseline, but you had him at E2, I will say is decent value, but I will most likely rather you throw the value at either the E2 Kachona or you gave the E2 to instead. But for the E2 Gion itself, it's not really that crazy. It's definitely like at the bottom of good, but it's not mid. It's definitely just at the bottom of good. It's just nothing crazy. I just definitely wouldn't do it. His DPS is honestly pretty fine at E0. Just keep it that way and just instead invest the dupes around the team around him instead of him himself. So let's see what Roshia has to offer. Okay, so now we're in here with Roshia. So her E1 is yeah, it makes her rotation faster. I wouldn't even care about that first part. And then her E2 is honestly pretty good. But if I had to rank her, now the E2 gives you 40% havoc damage bonus, which basically these 3 units do. Not really for Phoebe, it gives you like 120 of the spectral frazzle damage increase. But I will say it's definitely just because it gets 40% of the same thing these do. I don't think it's like anywhere near here. I will say it's probably somewhere like here. If you have it, it's good for basically any havoc character you're using, but it's not something I would personally recommend. Honestly, it's almost here, but since it's a havoc damage increase to literally any havoc unit you run her with, if you have the E2, then it automatically makes it really good value because she's automatically buffing somebody, but her herself is really just not that much value in itself. So that's going to be Roshia. Now let's see what Chisha has to offer. Okay, so now we're here with Chisha. I didn't even mean to even rank her like this long in the video, but I definitely should have did it somewhere in the beginning. She's like one of the newest units, and this is probably one of the characters you guys was curious about. So first with her E1 is good, mostly just for her main DPS. It's nothing really too crazy, but then for her E2 was honestly pretty, really good, honestly. But if I had to rank it, I would say it's about here right now. It's probably about here right now or even here right now. But the longer the game goes and the more negative status characters we have, her E2 is probably going to elevate all the way up to this rank. But right now, in November the 25th of 2025, then it's about, I'll say it's probably about right here, or even like right here. But no, it's definitely right here. I don't think it's stronger than E2 Lupa or even E3 Lupa, but her E2 was pretty good. But actually, yeah, it's about here. It's an interesting one. I'll just say wait till, if you have her E2, wait till more negative status characters come out, and then you'll see more value out of her E2. Her value is gonna go up and up and up. So let's see what Choyan has to offer. Okay, Choyan dupes. So first of all, his E1 is literally just crit rate. Honestly, it's not really crazy. His E2 though is really insane. I have to point that out. It's extremely insane. But I would say if you're pulling for Choyan to be a support, don't go past his E2 because you're gonna kind of cook his support, and then he's no longer gonna be a support really that much. But I would say his E3, if you want to main DPS him, as you can see all of that text, it really makes him do a lot of damage. Just look at the increases. 500, 600. Oh, that's his point gain. But 500, just 500, just 20 seconds. Another 500, dude. It's insane. Damage increases, and yeah, I would just say, if you want to make him a support, or you want to keep him as a support, his E2 is really insane. For DPS, his E3 is really insane. But if I had to rank him, I would say he's probably here. I'll say, wait, right now in the game, it's probably about here. But in the future, the more echo skill damage dealers we get, his thing is going to be like up here. So this is probably going to be like the future lineup for like the end, like the game when we progress. As of right now, what we have right now, these dupes, if you have them, they're going to be like broken to you because just how much they're going to be helping like the future characters that's going to be coming out whenever we get more echo skill damage dealers or negative status damage dealers. So that's going to be the tier list. I hope you guys like this type of content. I will say, if I had to change anything, I would like to probably put Camellya a little bit higher, probably even here. But I don't think that much of that wave, simply because she don't have another basic attack damage dealer to really help her out. So that's going to be it. This viewers. If this helps you in terms of what you want to invest in, because you know I'm really investing heavy on this channel whenever I talk about investment and stuff like that. So I hope this video helps you guys a lot, and I mean a lot. I hope you really take this advice. Peace.